Consolidation, I'm sorry, the CCU. Today's date is for work session is for the Guam Power Authority. I would like to note that members present at our conference room are myself, Francis Santos, Commissioner Peter Roy. Appearing virtually is Commissioner Mike Limchaco. Therefore, there is a quorum present and we can begin. All right, John B., you can start. Sure. Do you import? Great. All right, let's begin.
The first item is Resolution FY 2022-09, and also is a resolution with GWA, Resolution 08 FY 2022. And again, this is concerning the award of a contract for merchant banking services, and then from there to petition the PUC for their approval. Again, the merchant banking services are utilized for payments by our customers. It's really all paid by GPA. However, the bid result, First Hawaiian Bank in its price proposal offered Visa and MasterCard, and at utility industry program rates, which offers low interchange rates for utilities. No. So, result of that, GPA is expected to save about $1 million annually, and GWA $220,000. So it really came. These utility rates really helped us, and again, it also helped the customers in being able to have the opportunity to pay utilizing Visa or MasterCard. So what we're requesting is for the approval, your approval, and actually it's really for the 5-year period, although it's a basic 1 year plus 4-year option. But we still have the opportunity to, if something better comes out, we could go and not implement the option necessary. But instead of coming back to the CCU and then going to the PUC every year, I think for administrative purposes, we're requesting that we approve the 5-year program. So that's what I have on that resolution, Mr. Chair.
Peter Roy, you're the banker here. Okay, Commissioner Limchaco. He's on, right? Okay. All right. I'll give him
I think he's on mute, no? Or
yeah.
No?
Anyways, if he has questions, he can always come back. Okay. Just my general question. For operational purposes, John Kim, you're okay with a 1-year contract with a possible 4-1-1-1? Is that how I'm reading it? 1 + 1 + 1 + 1?
Yes.
Yeah. And is there any reason why they won't go for? I mean, for me, it's continuity, right? If you feel confident that we can.
We did the same as last time. When
Is
we
this
go
okay?
over there, like Hawaii, we did 1-year contracts for 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I just again going back, that's great, and that kind of rolls into the need for the next resolution, right? It goes hand in hand. They want a bank account.
Yes,
So
that
the
is
money
correct.
goes into that. All right.
That's correct, sir.
And this
That's
is a demand
FY
account?
2022-10.
Is it a savings or a checking?
It's a checking account.
The checking account, interest bearing?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So they just want the money.
Yes.
All right. Peter Roy, is that okay with you?
Yes, and just one question. Did we get a lot of? Is there?
Yes, two other banks submitted. There'll be Bank of Hawaii and Bank of Guam.
Okay, that's good. The local banks, all right?
Yes.
Okay. Who was the previous vendor, Mr. Kim?
Before this one was Bank of Hawaii.
Bank for Hawaii.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, John B., therefore, you can just roll on. The next resolution should be fine then.
Yep. That's
Right on.
correct, sir.
Yeah, it's because it goes hand in hand, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Third resolution is FY 2022-11, again authorizing us to increase the amount of the award for the physical security proof of concept. We did go over an RFP and we did hire Sheffield Scientific to do a design and analysis and recommendation and construction management, actually even included, for our physical securities. Again, physical security is very important for power and water, and again, it's always been our goal to get to there, and now we're finally at the point where they have came up with the recommendations, and what we want to do is go with a proof of concept of about, for GPA, about 6 stations, that we have identified in the resolution. And on the other side of the equation, GWA is also,
Right, I see that.
yeah, under. So, and again, because the limit of my authority is up to 1 million, I'm asking that the commission approve for us to change, for me to go ahead and add the additional work for the 5 sites selected, no? Then we'll bring the contract to 1496670.
Commissioners? I guess, if you don't mind, Johnny, describe to me, for example, your that's a good example, is what can we do to improve physical security here at Fidian?
Actually, it's here, it's going to be, again, access controls, communication, video surveillance, electrified locks in some areas, additional fencing, intrusion detection, perimeter lighting. All of that been looked at for all the different, for the 5 sites, and the 5 sites that we're looking at now is to implement this. Okay. This Talapofo, Harmon Substation, Dededu CT, Fidian Main Office, and PD Substation. And so I don't have the particulars as to what's is here, but basically it will encompass that type of work to be installed in these 5 facilities. And from there, we will be working down for because GPA has 29 substations. GWA has about 110 water well systems. But in addition to that, they also have the wastewater lift station. So I think it's about 200 some on the GWA site. And again, even our generators are on all of that site, right? We're taking care. So all of that is going to be eventually, so probably do a piecemeal at a time, but finally getting into physical security for those sites, because right now we don't have anything, no? Other than lock fences and all of that. So this is our step forward, Mr. Chair, and again, this is something for your consideration on Tuesday.
Any other questions, Commissioner Antaco? Well, I will share that John B. and I attended it actually was a cybersecurity, but it did talk about, they did ask us about how good our physical security, and John B. and I both looked at each other, and, obviously I was happy to see the other day on our Tuesday meeting, I take the stairs, going down, and I saw our team out there, providing, actually working on a badge system to come in, and I said, well, that's about time.
Yep.
Because of, the great need. And for those of us that have traveled, when we go to these, when we're visiting a facility, you physically can't even get in past the lobby. In one of our trips, actually even recently now, most hotels, you can only go to your floor. You can't go beyond, you press the button. Yeah, you may step off with somebody else, but a lot of times, they're tracking you. So this is finally good news for our system. Okay, John B., thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next resolution is FY 2022-12. Again, as could be done, the different positions in the authority from time to time required to be amended to encompass the additional work that's being done or necessary. And again, as part of this whole process, we determined that, of course, the best place for physical security to fall under is really under the safety manager, program administrator, right? And so therefore we went through the process, and as you can see, everything is tying in, no, to eventually getting to that point. So instead of having another person for physical security, the same administrator will handle both. And so our team went through the process, evaluating, looking at other places, how it's worked out. And in the process to, again, establish the position, right? We have to publish this in the web and for so many days and all of that, and then come to the CCU for their approval. So we have done that, Mr. Chair, and we'll be asking your consideration for the reallocation of the safety administrator and establishing a new position called Safety and Physical Security Manager. And actually, he'll be handling the whole protocol or the whole process of security for our entire GPA system. And of course, we'll work with GWA on that respect also. The position description, the revised one, is all here, provided for your perusal. And again,
This is industry standards, right?
yes, it's industry.
So let me just, Peter, do you have any questions, Commissioner Chaco?
No, I'm fine.
Because let me just understand, the current position name is Safety Administrator, the new position will be named Safety and Physical Security Manager.
Yep.
Okay, but the FTE follows the position, is that what I'm understanding?
The FTE,
Or the
yeah,
person now becomes new title,
yes,
correct?
correct.
What happens to position of Safety Administrator? You're it's a dual role thing? Is that what you're saying it?
We won't be utilizing it anymore.
The position gets eliminated. It's now a new.
It still be a comment and could be used by others or whatever, but really we won't be utilizing that anymore. And we won't be. Yeah.
Our budget down, Peter Roy, was he's got 300 FTEs. What he does is, it doesn't matter to us, and we don't, like other GovCon, right? There's a staffing pattern related to a position.
Yep.
We don't do that. We just think you got 300 FTEs, be happy and make it work.
Yep.
Okay, so.
It won't add another FTE.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
The next resolution is FY 2022. And again, this is a similar situation.
Right.
We have taken and really have made tremendous leaps and bounds in the GIS system, and in fact, everyone's asking for our system today.
Right.
However, again, to match really the additional duties and to maintain such a system throughout, we also have currently what we call a rights of way supervisor, who just looks at the mapping and all of that. But now, as we establish, with your approval, can establish what we call a GIS supervisor. And now he's responsible for the upgrade, maintenance of all the GIS, in addition to the additional work that they on rights of ways. No? So again, this is the upgrade to that position. Similarly, we will be eliminating the use of a right-of-way supervisor, and it'll be just simply. Not simply, you'll be now a GIS supervisor. Okay. And again, we went through the process, and again, for your consideration at Tuesday's meeting.
Okay. Questions?
Just one. So when we where you have the grade step M7-A, he can only go up to M8-A if he stays in for another 10 years or 15 years?
Oh no, there's an annual movement that's required by us in the pay for the performance. It's just, but it stays in that pay range. But then it can go keep on going up in step. But it's just you reallocate a movement from one pay range. In this case, pay range.
M7.
Yeah.
And then there's grades, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So assuming his
Okay,
performance.
Yeah.
so you
Based
have
on the
7A
pay
and
for
then
profit.
1, 2, 3, then you go over. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's it for the resolutions, right?
That's correct, Mr. Chair. GM report. Again, in terms of demand, we are higher than 2019, so that's good news. So at least we're recovering. So, but it's also saying that the growth is occurring, just as we expect. We haven't seen the military yet growth and all of that, so we're going to start seeing that over the next 2 to 3 years. No, in terms of energy, can we close? Can we bring this down? Okay. In terms of energy, we are right about the same as 2019. And again, that's also good news, but because not everybody is back, no? But again, this is giving you an idea that we are tracking up again, if despite the pandemic. We have 286 megawatts. Back up one, Joyce. Projected demand this month, 244, 42, and that's because part of it is because Cabras 1 is not available. No?
You want to update us now or update us later?
Which one?
Progress of Cabras.
Coming soon. Yeah. Next. Net metering, again, is just stay hanging there, right? Again, we keep this upgraded. We have 2,300 customers, 28.4 megawatts. Next. The oil prices still going straight up. I hope it turns again, no? But again, with Ukraine.
They're thinking it's going to break 120 soon.
Yeah. Yep. So. Again, we keep an eye on that. Next. The PUC did increase the LIAG by 1 cent to 18 cents from 17.1. And so again, we also like to note that really, even with the increase, we're still the cheapest in the whole the Pacific Island. Areas like Honolulu and others are up in the 30s to 40 cents a kilowatt hours. Ours were at 28, no? We're still, but again, there's no consolation, right, to all of us here, but just again, it's for relativity, this is where we are. The dockets, again, this coming week, next week, the PUC will consider approval of the utility service, the major overhaul, and they'll be reviewing the IRP. But IRP, again, is really a benchmark. It doesn't cover everything that we need necessary for the next 10 to 15 years. It's not an approval of each particular item. Those will come to you for approvals, no? From time to time, including if we're going to go out for bid for another 120, 150 megawatts will be coming to you first, no? Which is probably this summer. Next. Customer assistance, again, we are assisting in the emergency rental work, so we're working with DOA. Pandemic, again, it's been, our vaccination is 93, but of course, a lot of people are out at this point. What's my count? I don't have that number right here with me. Yeah. 30 to 40, if my understanding. I don't have the particular. I don't have the particular one today. Yeah.
Close contactors.
Yeah. So services continue, but there's some services now that we have to back off a little bit, like because almost the whole team are out. Yeah. But again, we're working through it. No? Thank you, 3C and safety. I know you keep an eye on the pandemic, and we continue to do all the different things that are necessary. Next. The legislative, looks like Bill 213 is on, at least potentially on, in this month's session. I'm not sure about, I'm sorry, 212 is on. I'm not sure about 213.
Work in progress.
Solar PV, military land, the Superior Court voted in our favor. And therefore now we're in the process of trying to get the contract rolling and then bringing it to yourself and then to the PUC. And from there, hopefully we can get that, which is really needed. This is where they catch all the energy in the daytime and we run it down the peak. So this is the model for future. Yep. Next. Traverse number 1 explosion, February 4th. Assessments underway to indicate main damage on boiler panels and lagging insulation. And I'll show you where that at. They have cleaned out the hazardous material and work is in process now. Taking off the damaged areas so that you can see everything. We're coming up with a detailed repair plan and schedule. So we'll know that probably later on in the week. Also looking at inventory. We're going to bring in materials. We have engaged technical expertise as needed to assist us in this evaluation and recovery. Even manpower, we're going to man up and get all the materials. We're going to move very quickly into the repair.
When do you think, John, we're physically, or when do you think we're really going to start?
I don't have that schedule yet, but my target is 1 month. Okay.
1 month to start, 1 month to complete.
1 month to start up again.
Start.
Yeah, complete. So that's my target, but we will refine it once we get those other information. No? So that's my initial assessment. Yeah, because we're going to bring
I
in.
guess the more important question is we all have a supply chain issue, right?
Yep.
How much of this is human resource issue, getting the right people here involved to do this? Is that another issue? We're okay on that.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
At the same time, we're going to do other maintenance on the turbine and other things. We're going to take advantage of this downtime. So they're looking at sourcing those expertise to bringing them in as quickly as possible. Make all this preventive maintenance so when the unit come up, it's going to be even better than when it went down. Huh?
That's, so it's 1 month to start the unit up or 1 month to start working on the repairs?
1 month for on the line. Yeah, they already started on the repair. They cleaned it. They're taking out all the damaged areas so then they can see and preparing what materials we have. They'll begin to start repairing as we bring in the other materials and bring in more manpower. Eventually, I want to get to more than just 1 shift per day and all of that. The target is that. And again, just to give you an idea that it's not 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. I will let you know that it is about a month, and we'll see what the schedule comes in after the team put it together. Once we know all the other issues about materials and parts and everything. Next. So here's the boiler. Here's the firing of the boiler here. This is where you fire in the furnace. And then the flue gas goes up this way, down this way, and then out through the duct into the air preheater, and then up to the stack. So here's the air preheater. There's resistance here. The explosion occurred right here. So we saw the explosion here. I'll show you right here in this area. The insulation, the additional shock. The shock's got to go somewhere, right? Went through the lagging in between the boiler tubes and the lagging and the panel. all throughout this area, 4 and 5. So some are blown out, and then eventually it blew out towards the building too. In 1991, this whole thing here, so that's the major, no? That was the what happened, and we took 90 days and soldering C5A to boiler tubes and everything to get this done. But this is mostly lagging work, maybe a couple of boiler tubes for leaks here and there, but we will go through it. No? Next. Here's this area. Here's A and B. Blow up. No? Next. Here's area 2. This is what it looked like. See how the lagging are all out? Area 3. The next. Area 4. Again, you can see how the, here's the boiler, the inside. See how the panels and everything. So the shock went through the insulation area and then push out the panels. No? But the tubes are, and everything are intact. We know that because there was still water in the boiler after the explosion. So therefore, the tubes are intact. There's a couple of areas that we have to repair, but we're going to find that out more. They're going to do a hydro test in the boiler. Next. So that's the boiler. Just to let you know, we're moving forward, and we'll do what we can to make this back as quickly as possible.
John K., is this something you can claim on our insurance policy? It's too low.
We don't have the price yet, but we think it's too low.
Yep. So we're tracking all our costs and yep. So the next item, tank 1935. You recall we took out, there's 2 tanks we have. We took out the first one to recertify. Every 10 years you have to check the tank, make the repairs, and then it's good for another 10 years that you have to do, right? Well, 1935 is the first tank that we've been working on, and then we're going to put the 0.2% sulfur here to utilize the cabers, and then go and clean the other tank and then put ultra low sulfur diesel there. Well, again, it's 216,000. That was the plan to put the 0.2% sulfur. We've had to reprogram because of our findings, which I'll show you in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, instead of trying to fix this tank temporarily just to use it for cabers for 3 years, we're just going to recertify it for 10 years. We're going to redo re-clean some of the tanks that we lease and use that to put the 0.2 and just put ultra low sulfur diesel here when we're done, no? So that we don't delay, we can meet the consent decree deadline.
What's the cost of building you?
Oh, substantial, the tens of millions. Yeah.
Tens of millions.
Let's say 10 to 20 maybe.
10.
Yeah. And again, I'll show you what they could do. No, here next. Again, this is the area where
That's the inside. Right?
inside. This is the bottom plates. Because the sides are okay. It's really the bottom that no. Next. So here's what they find after they clean it all up, and see there's some pitting and there's a hole coming straight through here, here. The thing about
Is the bottom metal or?
yeah, plates. So it went straight through, right? But what happens over time is that you have heavy oil. It creates slots, and then under pressure, right? It doesn't really make the oil come through. Now, if that was diesel, it come right through, no? Okay. But again, yeah. So what they do now with this now is they cut out the plates and they change, and then they take the thickness of all the other plates to say, okay, this will last another 10 years or so and so more, right? So this is what they're going to do now, make the repair.
And this one we own, right? This tank we own. Yes.
Yeah, this time we own. So we have 2 tanks, and these 2 tanks will be adequate, plus to take care of our future needs. Next. New power plant updates, again, we're continuing forward. I won't go through all of this. We're trying to get them to a financial closing so that we can really move. So hopefully that's there soon. That's still the issue with the financial closing. Next. Oh, the other ones are your regular general reports. So that's all I have on the GM report. I do have one more. DSM. Remember, Mr. Chair, you request that? Yep. So what we're really doing here is just, we'll show you what we're doing, what we're going to do. No? Next. Again, new commercial, we're rolling up. You talk about a cap. It was 10,000 in 6 months. They were also not offered to before, but we're giving them for Douglas for.
That's a new one.
Yep. Next. These are the other ones for the commercial that weren't there before. Next. Again, depending the higher the SEER, the better the rebates. Next. Again, the same thing. So we are rolling out quite a bit also for the commercial because PUC is giving us 3 million a year in authorization for rebates. Yeah, we're rolling already out at the 2 million or so. So we're next. Again, this is all based on some kind of a formula for recovery. No? Next. The problem here was the recovery is saying, oh, you're giving too much and that. And I said, well, but again, the other thing is if you go only for 15 cents, they're going to kill the. In the same token, you want them to go to electric instead of gas or anything like that, right? So instead of 200, we decided to just cut it down to 110, one half, which is still, still about 20% of the cost, or somewhere.
Half of it is always in air conditioning.
Yep.
That's what you're
Yep. Jen, did you have any thoughts or comments? Yep. So that's all we're going to do, Mr. Chair. I think last time we were looking at 20.
Is 3 million enough?
For now, it's enough, but we don't know the commercial once it rolls in. I think we're going to be a slow start, but once it gets more, then we'll figure out the cost.
So obviously, one of the million-dollar questions is, how are we going to treat EDOE? Where do they fall in this? I mean, do we include them as a customer? I mean, they're a customer, right? But they're not residential, are they considered commercial to us? Because that's thousands of units.
So they're not part of this rollout right now, and we wanted to kind of grasp how the program's going to roll out, and then we can slowly bring in the other
I think that's a good question, and I think we'll come back to you with that because I don't see why we cannot roll this. We're already at the commercial, the government is the last. So why, for what reason will we keep back any of the government? No? If they are changing with the same criteria as the commercial or the, basis, right?
We're also trying to manage the amount of applications that flow through.
Right.
So
I guess the question, Jenny, if you look at it, right, is that we know that GDOE needs to fix this problem, or not a problem, right? And there are a lot of old units, you're going to improve the efficiency, but the question is who's going to benefit from it, right? Do you, say for example, the way I see it is, if the end user is GDOE, but you can't really, simply give the government, can you give the so-called discount or rebate to the supplier? So then he has, for example, $300 less to add to his cost, right? Or something a little bit more creative, because again, you want to get more efficient units into GDOE.
I think we can give it to the government directly.
Okay,
I think we're gonna just go through our program and the rollouts have been really and I could understand where Jennifer is coming from, is that the more you roll up, the more applications get flooded. So we will address that somehow, no? But I think we'll take a look at that and see what are applicable for the government and really open it up to them too. There shouldn't be any reason why there's still only two classes. I mean, there's three, right? The government, commercial, but the government typically follows the commercial. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we're working as a partner with them, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand, and we should really try to look at this as a possible win for them also.
Yep.
And, we want them to consume.
Start reducing their costs by buying energy efficient units.
Or with our USC programs, so we do
No, I
lighting.
know that. I mean, that's I think
Yeah.
that a Carbolito, right?
Several of the
bunch of schools
GW, Southern High,
Carbolito,
Agita,
Tumaning,
Ole
Agita.
LED.
Those are all grant projects that we're working with
Yeah.
them on.
So now
But they're
on the air conditioning.
They're lighting programs.
Okay.
So now, yeah. Yeah, John.
The other customers, like the federal customers, as well as some Guam. And that's a good question. And so
We'll address it, John. Thank you. Okay.
Anything else?
No, unless there's any other question from the
Good,
commission.
Leroy?
No, I'm just fine.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Move to adjourn. See you Tuesday.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second. I was just going to ask, is this also